everyone, and welcome to another episode of Gerard Goes Geek. I'm Gerard, aka GeeYee, and this is my recap of Star Wars Rebels Super Commando. Now, this was a Sabine-focused episode, and I'm okay with that. She's a cool character, and I like learning a bit more about her. And Dave Filoni did say that this was going to be a more Sabine-centric season, and we've seen that in the teasers that she's going to be doing a lot of stuff with Mandalorians, as well as we've seen her holding the Darksaber. And there's some people out there that are saying that she could get the title of Mandalore by the end of the season, which would be pretty cool. Before we get started, I have to say, this is a spoiler-heavy show. So if you haven't seen the episode yet, pause this video, watch the episode of Rebels, then come back. Because I don't want to ruin anything for you. So the episode opens up with Sabine and Fen Rao playing this kind of futuristic tic-tac-toe strategy game. It looked kind of cool. Fen Rao starts kind of insulting Sabine, bringing up her treacherous past, calling her a traitor. Then Zeb walks in and tells everyone to come to the war room where they're briefed on the mission for this episode. Ezra and Sabine have to go out and scout the Concord Dawn region to see if the Protectors are laying a trap. Now, the Protectors, being Fen Rao's men, he suggests that he go along with them to ensure safe passage. During the flight to Concord Dawn, we get a couple of cool things. One, it's that awkward kind of Ezra moment where I kind of, for anyone that's shipping Ezra and Sabine, this kind of felt like that awkward meet your dad at like dinner kind of thing, where Ezra's kind of just moping around, kind of like trying to figure out what to do, what to say. He starts asking a lot of questions about Mandalore, and Ezra asking these questions is almost a voice for the audience to ask questions and help find out a little bit more of Mandalore's history, especially with new canon. Because again, a lot of things have changed, but again, they're still pulling from Legends material. Fen Rao drops this really cool line about how the Mandalorians have been around since before the form of the Republic and will be there way past the end of the Empire. So it's a little bit of a nod to the Clone Wars, as well as a bit of a nod to the Old Republic era, which I know we're all hoping that Netflix does something with. Come on, Disney. Make it happen. As Ezra's asking all these questions, he turns his back to Fen Rao, and that's a no-no, because Fen proceeds to knock him and Sabine out and steal their ship. So once our heroes wake up, they go out searching for Fen to only find him standing on the edge of a cliff, looking completely defeated. He's dropped Sabine's weapons, and Ezra easily uses the Force to take back a gun, or blaster, or whatever. So the group makes their way down to the scene of the ambush where all the Protectors are now dead. Fen loses it and is upset and blames Sabine for letting this happen, because if he wasn't captured by her and the rebels, none of this would have happened. As they're all arguing, a droid spots them and starts relaying information back. And by the time that our heroes shoot this thing down, it's a little late, and in fly the Imperial Supercommandos. So the rebels are split up, and Ezra ends up getting taken captive by Gar Saxon. Now, I want to just go off on a little bit of a tangent here, because this Gar Saxon character and the way they kind of set everything up kind of felt a little bit like another show that I've been watching a lot of recently, and that's The Walking Dead, and Gar Saxon kind of reminds me of Negan. Now let me just go off on this tangent here and show you why. Okay, let's look at the way each holds their weapon. Then look at the way he's threatening to shoot Chopper to get information. It's kind of reminiscent of Negan trying to make an example out of one of the group. One last frame, and I'm probably reading a lot more into this than I should. Look at the way Negan is holding down Rick, and look at the way Gar Saxon is holding down Ezra. I mean, he didn't threaten to cut off his hand or anything, but I feel a little bit of similarities, and I feel that if this wasn't a kid show, that maybe Gar Saxon would be a little bit darker. So anyways, at this point, Sabine and Fen start teaming up and are kicking ass. Sabine ends up stealing a jetpack and goes off to save Ezra, and Fen goes off to get the ship. But of course, in typical villain fashion, Fen steals the ship, leaving Sabine and Ezra to deal with Gar Saxon all by themselves. Now, with our heroes alone with Saxon, the Viceroy of Mandalore starts bringing up Sabine's past, bringing up her mother and the fact that if she had stuck with the Academy, she could be standing with him right now. And obviously, this is all laying groundwork for what's coming later in the season. Now, some people are speculating that Bo-Katan's character could end up being Sabine's mother, but I'm going to leave that for speculation. We get this really cool escape scene with Sabine flying on her jetpack and Ezra holding on to her while deflecting blaster shots with his lightsaber. eventually falling and landing on Chopper, who says, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, you know this is an accident, right?" Kind of a funny moment. Again, kid show. And just when things look lost, in flies Fen Rao with the ship. Everyone gets on board and fly away. Sabine unfortunately gets her jetpack damaged. In the end, Rao decides to join the rebel cause, and the episode ends. Overall, I'll give this episode a 7 out of 10. While it's not in the upper echelons of episodes for me, it's not purely at the bottom here, it's just filler. Because again, it's laying the groundworks and it's furthering the plot along. Now on to some stuff I've been hearing people complain about. And that's that Ezra felt a little underpowered this episode. In previous episodes this season, we've seen him take control of pilots of Imperial walkers and bring them down. In this episode, he could barely stop a droid from flying away. And I think there's a couple of reasons for it. First off, Ezra, when he was doing the more powerful things like slicing down stormtroopers and pulling walkers down, he was tapping into the dark side, and he's no longer doing that. So he's definitely taken a step back power-wise, because the fastest way to more power using the Force is the dark side. And the other reason is if Ezra could do all his amazing things still in this episode, it might take away from Sabine, who is the focal point of this episode. Now guys, that's just what I think. Please leave some comments down below and let's start a little discussion about this episode and maybe where we think Sabine's character is going to go. Do we think Ezra was a little powered down? And is anyone still shipping these two? As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm just starting this channel, and I would love for you to join me on this journey. Later in the week, I'll be doing a preview video of the upcoming episode in Star Wars Rebels. Till then, see you guys.